Support the Amigos podcast on Patreon or PayPal and receive cool perks and rad swag. Visit our page at everythingamiga.com/support.
Amiga, the first personal computer that gives you a creative edge.
Hi everybody, welcome to Amigos. I'm John.
I'm Aaron.
And today, Aaron, we're going to be talking about Pushover.
Oh.
Yeah.
I've known to be like that sometimes. Depending on how much I've been drinking that night.
Would you call yourself a pushover?
I do. I am.
You're an old soft.
I am. I get bullied, cajoled, hassled into doing stuff. Yeah, that's me.
On the upside, I can mold you to my desires.
Yeah, that's creepy. What? Please don't. I don't want to know what your desires are, by the way.
I kind of creep myself
Your
out
desires
a little
and
bit.
mold, I'd say, are very similar. And that's a good choice of words.
Well, Aaron, this is another ant game.
Yeah, you're right. It is.
And we've talked about your sort of loathing of insects in the past before.
This does have a legitimate ant. He's just not a guy representing ants.
That's
This
true.
is an actual ant.
That's right. This game was actually programmed in response to Zool.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, the ant community was fed up with only having a representative.
At least they've got an ant they can sort of be proud of this time around, as opposed to a guy represented.
He served. He's GI ant.
Yeah, I saw that.
Name.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what branch.
Military overtones in that one.
Yeah.
You know what branch? Dude, he's a soldier ant, right? That's what they are.
That's what they call him.
You get it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I get it.
Yeah. What's been going on over at everythingamiga.com this weekend?
Now, you know, Dreamcatcher, he covers everything, but sometimes he covers things that are near and dear to me, and he's done it again. A few weeks ago, he did Rocky Horror. This week, he's doing the game based on a Roger Moore Bond classic, A View to a Kill. Now, I know you haven't seen this fine film, but this is quite a... I always thought this was a real good film. One of the first Bond movies I saw in the theater when it came out back in the day. You know, I'm a Roger Moore guy.
He's your favorite Bond,
well,
right?
he's just... Listen,
it's Timothy Dalton first,
no,
and then Roger Moore, right?
No, absolutely not. Timothy Dalton is not first. Listen, I love Sean Connery as Bond, and Sean Connery fits the bill as a Bond, right? And his Bond movies are mostly really good. But Roger Moore brought a wackiness to that role and a comedy that you never got from Sean Connery. And you know I love wacky. So I can't help but be drawn to a lot of the Roger Moore films. And this one was quite wacky. Plus, you had King Wacky, a.k.a. Christopher Walken, played the bad guy in this, Zorn. And this is quite a movie. It also had it had a cast of weird goofs in it. Like Grace Jones was in it.
Who's that?
How can I describe her? She's a tall, crew-cutted, muscular death dealer. Okay, that's her. If you're looking at the video, right? Yeah, that's her right there.
It's like Sigourney Weaver in Alien.
She's a real toughie.
Okay.
She's a Zorn's bodyguard. Of course, that didn't stop Bond from betting her later in the movie.
Of course.
But she's a real tough chick. In fact, the very opening chase scene is a chase scene where Bond's rolling up and trying to catch her on the Eiffel Tower.
You know, I think that's the youngest I've ever seen Christopher Walken.
Yeah, well, he was younger than that, believe it or not. You
I don't believe it.
You ever seen a Deer Hunter and that stuff?
No, gosh, no.
So, yeah, that wouldn't be your cup of tea anyway. But the movie...
is that Bill Murray?
No,
Oh.
that's
it looks like... You can't tell me that doesn't look
James
like Bill
Bond.
Murray.
No,
In this exact moment, he looks like Bill Murray.
You're out of your mind. Nevertheless, this had an awesome theme sang by Duran Duran, which it also had a great video for the song.
Her name is Grace Jones, and she's...
That's incorrect. I think the plot of this, as I recall, was Zorin wanted to flood. He wanted to let ocean water flood Silicon Valley.
Really?
And I can't recall to what end. But
Okay.
so he was mining under Silicon Valley and put a bunch of explosives down there, and so Bond had to get down there and try to stop him. All right. The best part of this whole movie is a scene where Christopher Walken's down there with his stooge. And all the miners are down there. He's like, and he gets on the bullhorn. He's like, "You guys have all done a great job. You know, Goodbye. And Christopher Walken basically gets a gun and just mows down his own man and cackles with delight as he's mowing him down because he's out of his mind. He's nuts. You know, and even when, not to spoil it, but at the end there's a big fight scene on the Golden Gate Bridge.
Really?
And Zoran's up there with an axe and he's fighting Bond, and Bond hoses him. And so Zoran's hanging off the edge of the Golden Gate Bridge. And he just starts cackling at his own death. And then he falls off and presumably he's killed. Lots of good stuff in this.
So this isn't one that Zorn comes back at all? Like
No,
in the later movie
no, Zorn ain't coming back from. He ain't coming back from this one. He fell off the Golden Gate Bridge. He's done. But was this the best Bond film? No. Was it the best film of the era? No. Of Roger Moore's career? No. Because not why Man with the Golden Gun still walking around. That's my all-time favorite Bond, especially my all-time favorite Roger Moore. But this was a fun film with lots of Bondy stuff that went on. And so here comes The Game, based on this. And
the game is not really inspiring.
I have not played.
Screenshots so far.
I have not played this game. I'll be honest with you, but I had heard of its existence. It looks, let's just say, remedial. Let's go with that. But and of course, Dreamcatcher goes into like vivid, ultra detail in the film before it even gets to it. I believe this game was on the Speccy, and yeah, it was available on the Spectrum, the Amstrad, the C64, and the MSX. So you've got some interesting machines there, and God only knows. We have, and maybe this will come up with it. Have we ever played a Bond game on any of the shows we did?
I don't think so.
I'm begging. We need that to happen. We need some Bond acts. I would love to try that. So anyway, if you're into Bond or into this game, this is something you should check out. Dreamcatcher goes into ultra detail with tons and tons of pictures.
Cool.
I recommend it.
All right, and I believe, yes, that is the only new article on Everything Amiga this week. So we're going to transition on into Amiga News.
Oh, God.
That's right. It's the Gamble Train, and it is rolling down the station. Aaron, it's been a little bit of a slow news week. I'm not going to lie to you. There hasn't
not too many cars on the old Gamble Train this week.
No, it's a one-car deal. It's more like a tram, really.
It's one of those push cart
things.
Right. Yeah.
That's right. And pushing the push cart is our buddy Tenmark.
Get on, start pumping, Doug.
And so his video this week is about eyebrows 2.5.2 for the Amiga. Now, Aaron, have you ever once in your life connected an Amiga to a web browser?
Oh wait, eyebrows. Get it?
I do get it.
No. I have BBS'd on the Amiga extensively back in the day, but I have not. I don't have. It's funny. I have a Wi-Fi adapter that would work on the Amiga, but I've never done it. To be honest with you, that doesn't mean you shouldn't. It just means I haven't.
Yeah. So anyway, this is a new release, and Doug walks you through all of the new features and everything. Boy, it's literally like stepping back in time.
It looks like Netscape 0.04 beta.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah. But I mean, you've got to admire these people that are chasing the dream of surfing the web on the Amiga.
It is. It is wacky that, I mean, it's funny. You would think that a web browser wouldn't be that complicated. Then when you actually think about it, it seems like the most complicated thing ever.
It's the most complicated thing in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, now, boy, I mean, I'm getting like nostalgia pangs looking at this thing, which with the gray background on the pages and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first time you ever used a browser?
I did.
Real browser.
Let's face facts. It depends on your definition of real browser.
Okay.
Because the first time I actually used the World Wide Web was through the only way you could do it, which was through AOL at the time. It was there was nothing else because my local service providers weren't providing a gateway to it.
Right.
So the first time I ever used the World Wide Web or FTP was all on AOL. And we all, I don't know about everybody, but I longed for a way to get out from underneath AOL.
Oh, yeah.
I hated them.
Yeah.
And so eventually, here comes an outfit called.
There was a Pipeline.
No, this was a local outfit that we hooked up with. I can't remember their name, but I remember they had their own. Earthlink was one. I remember we were on that, and these things would come with a mixed browser that they had put together, presumably using Mozilla or Netscape or something. But you could run your own browser, which I did. And I think the first one I ran was Netscape, one of the old Netscapes,
me too.
from back in the day.
Me too.
And it was a decent experience. It wasn't like I thought, man, I'm getting screwed here. I mean, you thought you were doing pretty good at the time.
Yeah,
you didn't know what tabbed browsing or any of this other crap was, or Java or Flash. You didn't know what that was. You were just happy to be doing something that you could talk to people.
Just happy to be here.
Well, I mean, when you've BBS for like your whole life, that's all you've done, and you thought that was the bomb. It's like, man, I could leave a message and tomorrow a dude will talk to me. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, crap. Everyone on Earth's on this.
Yeah.
It's amazing, you know. And I remember the old web pages, you'd be astounded at these web pages.
You get on a web ring.
Yeah, absolutely. You had to. And I remember putting together a Luchador web page one time, and I thought, man, this is great. And a ghost hunting page, and you were like, now I got to get these pages spread out, and that's how you did it with the web ring.
Oh yeah,
you know?
I was definitely a member of the Robert Smith Cure Appreciation Society web ring.
Yep. Is that when you had his hair?
That was when I had his hair and his makeup and his gut.
If only you had his bassist. That guy's awesome.
Yeah, it's true. His name's like Simon Pilgrim.
That guy can go.
Like
He makes the band.
He is.
That and the whiny singing.
It's a tag team.
I like the
Morrissey
Cure,
and
but
Johnny
let's
Marr.
face facts. This guy's whiny.
And our only other story, and this is actually a story that's a couple weeks old, but we're just now getting around to it. This is a new proof of concept video that shows just what is possible in terms of scrolling and speed on OCS.
Yeah, I haven't seen this yet. I heard of people talking about it.
This is amazing. This is loosely based on Super Outrun, the motorcycle game. And this thing is amazing.
So tell me what they've done here, Bo.
Well, what they've done here is they've created this.
Oh.
This is
that looks pretty good.
I mean, this looks pretty darn arcade perfect. Now, of course, this is not a playable demo. This is something that's just a video running, but it shows what might possibly could be done in a future release. If we could get a racing game with this smooth of a frame rate, it would be amazing. It'd be amazing.
It looks good. Yeah, it looks good. I will say it's funny. I played. Why did I do this? Oh, I was testing the new. I stuck a new GOEC driver in my Amiga 1200 this week, and I was testing it. And we had played something, I don't even remember what it was, but you'd said, hey, that's every bit as good as Lotus 2. And I was like, I think Boat was on crack. I'm going to try Lotus 2 out. And I'll tell you, when you go back and play Lotus, that's another thing. They really hit the ball out of the park on the scrolling.
They really worked hard to make the scrolling the best they could.
That is quite a game. But this also, I have to say, this does look very impressive. The biker looks good. It's very nice.
Yeah.
It's a shame that you can't actually play this. That'd be a lot of fun.
But maybe that's coming down the road. You never know.
Yeah.
So we thank, of course, Saberman and Indie Retro News for that bit of news. And Aaron, it's time to talk about Pushover. But before we get into it,
okay, so it's not time to talk about Pushover.
Well, we are. We're gonna talk about it in conjunction with this gift we've received.
Oh, okay. Oh boy.
From Pixels at Dawn. If I don't destroy the computer.
Don't dump fancy water all over the desk, Bo.
The fancy water's gone. I forgot about the refill. So, inside this box, feel the weight of the cardboard on that box. That's a high quality.
That's a rich
cardboard.
Corinthian cardboard right there.
It is. And we got these are these edible packing peanuts. Remember those?
No, they're not. Don't eat it, dude.
It's tradition. I've got to eat at least one.
I'll see you in the emergency ward, you dipstick. Good Lord.
This is a note. It's not a note. This is a receipt.
This is... Well, read it, Boat.
It's from UK Goods. They're known as the Good Taste of Home. Okay?
Okay.
So this is a place, they're in Pennsylvania, and they are a major importer of goods from the UK.
Okay.
Yeah. So inside here, Aaron, we're going to just kind of start off with a little bit of Angel Delight.
Oh, this is goodies.
Yeah, this is goodies. Okay. So Angel Delight is...
This looks like something you have to make. It is.
Oh.
Thank God I told you before you just dumped this in your mouth.
I thought it was like the old lick.
No, it looks like pudding.
Fun dip
it's some
is
sort
what
of,
this is.
It looks like pudding.
Yeah, I think it's pudding. I think you're right.
Who did you say sent this, by the way?
Pixels at Dawn.
Okay. Oh, good. Pudding. I like pudding. That'll be good.
All right. Up next. You know, these packing peanuts have sort of an aftertaste.
Yeah, it's called styrofoam.
It's making my tongue numb a little bit.
You've actually destroyed the environment of your body.
McVitie's Hobnobs.
Why don't you make the screen big here so they can see what this stuff
that's a
looks
good
like.
idea. That's a good idea. McVitie's Hobnobs, Aaron.
Okay.
They cure what ails you. They appear to be milk chocolate Odie knobbly biscuits. That's the official UK Food and Drug Administration description of what this is.
So they have an official description of hobnob.
Yeah. We'll have a maybe we'll
My
have
knob is a bit hob. That might be pretty good.
We might have an after show where we
just
eat
sit around
these.
eating?
Yeah, but we won't do that on the actual podcast. Okay. Now this has been boxed inside of a box. It's the double box of doom here.
We better eat these quick.
I thought I was prepared.
If you were with us last week, opening things, it's not Boat's strong suit.
Yeah, and this thing is. Gosh darn it. I'm going to have to get my thing again. You don't have any sharpness, do you?
Nope.
Hold on a
What do you
minute.
think? I just carry around a butcher knife or a cleaver?
You work for the Kentucky State Police.
I don't get to carry nothing.
You don't have a special carry permit for when you're.
Let me tell you something. What you don't want to do is carry sharp crap into a prison. They don't like that.
Now that you say it that way.
Because someone might come up behind me, hit me with a I don't know, a shank, and then take my weapon, which is better than the shank, and then kill me.
That's true.
So no. See, you got to do that pretty good. Don't eat those, for God's sakes. Man, these are super packed. This is going to be the some kind of ultra food here.
Yeah. And there is more. This is not the final act here. Oh
no, these are the
Quavers.
food in question.
Yeah. So this is what we wanted to get to here.
Now, we've had these once before, haven't we?
We have. The last time that we covered a Quavers-based game, which I believe was called Out of This World. That can't be right.
No.
One Step Beyond is the name of the game.
Yes.
We had Quavers for the first time.
Oh boy, because they were tasty. As I recall.
Now look at this, Aaron. I want to draw your attention to this. Do you see this cut here in the middle of the bag? Does your bag have that too?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Something tells me that that was on top when you were cutting into it with your keys.
Yeah, you're probably right. I thought it was one of these things where you could burst it open.
No.
It's Quavers time, baby.
That's you have cut it with your keys.
Oh, okay. So anyway.
What would you do if I wasn't here? You'd be filling up on styrofoam peanuts.
It's true. Styrofoam peanuts and Jägermeister.
No, we don't. Nobody wants to see that.
All right. We will unwrap the rest of the goodies.
Oh boy.
At the end of the show.
That'll be food time.
But for right now, we are going to be moving on to Pushover.
So let's.
And thank you, Pix. Thank you for
absolutely.
For the goodies.
I will feast on this stuff because I'm hungry. So, Pushover. Now, Vote, I ask you this every week, and I'll ask you again. Had you heard of or had you ever played this in the past?
I've never heard of or played this in the past.
I hadn't either. I had not ever heard of this. And the funny thing is, who knew there were two games with the Quavers dude in it?
I might have actually done an Amigos plays on this.
What?
Now that I think about it, I think I maybe have.
Oh my God. So anyhow, let's talk about this game. Released in the year 1992, Boat. 2 big discs, and this is a single-player effort. Developed by the stupidly named Red Rat Studio. We have talked about Red Rat before because they were also behind One Step Beyond. They also did International Soccer Challenge. They also did Screaming Wheels and Wild Wheels. They did a lot of crazy wheel stuff there. And the concept of this game was derived from a fellow named Chaz Partington. Party of 4. The artist was.
I thought you were going to make a Chad Pennington joke.
No, are you kidding? Do you get you killed around here? Artist and the coder, Dave Ellock. You got a ton of people. I'm not gonna get on the list, but look at this. There's like 15 people worked on this game, man. You know, and a lot of these guys worked on a lot of the same games, including Batman, Hook, Hudson Soft. You got some weird stuff in here. So, what do we got here? Well, this game, believe it or not, got ported. I want to mention that right out of the gate. You had a Atari ST version. You had a Super Nintendo version of this Boatster. Oh, did you get to try that?
I played them all.
Oh, good. You played the DOS version as well?
No. When I say I played them all, I mean I played the Super Nintendo version.
There you go. Now, before we get too far in this, let's talk about their tie-in here. So, Quavers, which are these chips, they were
crisps, as it were.
Crisps. I apologize.
Let me read to you from the Gospel of Quavers.
Please.
Curly little things, Quavers, and no two are the same. Some twister, some that wrap around your tongue, but they're all crunchy and melty. and pleasingly cheesy. So go on, pop one in your mouth.
You sounded like an American retro man cave right there. You gonna steal his bit too? You're another one. So the town, and that's exactly the way they taste. Mm-hmm. They're quite yummy. So anyhow, they had a character, I guess, back in the day, and I'm sure some of the people in the chat can back this up. Colin Curley. Mm-hmm. I believe he's like
he's a dog.
He's a dog.
He's a
with
big
one
bad
of those
dog.
dumb guy, like the flat hats and like a coat.
Yep.
You know.
He's got it's like an old press hat.
Would you say he's a dumb guy dog? It's hard to say.
It's hard to say. We don't know. We haven't delved too far into his psyche.
Now, the from what I read, this tie-in came at the last minute. And was not planned as part of this game. Whenever these guys were making the game, this just like, I don't know if it was forced on them or what, but this was not something that was planned. So you'll notice that when you play the game, there's a little to do with Quavers except for a few parts. We'll go ahead and talk about it now. When the game comes up, Colin, the dog, is rolling around and he drops his Quavers in an anthill.
Right, as you do.
And luckily, the ant buddy of his is standing by. GI Ant is standing by, and he basically says, like, these guys can communicate. They don't need a written language or talk. He just goes, I'll do it, and he just goes in the ant.
I just put it together.
Yeah.
G-I Ant.
Yeah.
Giant.
Good one, Bode.
You think that was on purpose?
And you called that guy dopey. Where's your dumb hat? So anyway, you are GI Ant as you go, and the funny thing is, Quavers as a food is never pictured in like the ant portion of the game, but it's mentioned. After so many levels are completed, it just says, "Hey, you found a bag of Quavers."
Right.
Then there's a cut scene where your guy comes up out of the anthill and does a little bit with Colin the dog.
Right.
Now I will say some of the cut scenes are funny. I did watch all the cut scenes, and I thought. Good.
Well, I feel like this is the way, if you're going to do a product tie-in, this is the way to do it. You have a solid game, and then you just sort of put the things around it in with it.
Well, this isn't how I'd do it.
How would you do it?
Well, I mean, do you remember back in the 90s, or actually in the mid 2000s, like product placement on the internet was the rage. Mm-hmm. And so like Nabisco and all these guys, they were having these games made out of their stuff, right?
Right.
So you had Lifesaver games and Cookie games, Keebler Elf games, and they would at least have the stuff, like the stuff was always on the screen. Because
right, but do you want that? Do you want Quavers all over the screen?
But what I'm saying is, if I'm Quavers, yes, I want Quavers on the screen at all times. I don't want my product mentioned but not seen, and it just for little bits. Plus, you don't see those cutscenes until you beat, like, I think it's 12 levels.
Yeah.
So it's not like your average, like, these old Lifesaver games, there were Lifesavers everywhere, plus there was, like, promo material all over the screen. Mm-hmm. You know, if I'm an advertiser, I want that.
That's true.
I don't want this.
They could have put some Quavers logos over the various things in the background.
But as a player, oh, yes. Mm-hmm. Let's assume that the guys that made this got paid for the sponsorship. Good on them, because they didn't give up hardly anything to have to do it.
Right.
So once you get past the opening bit with the dog, he drops the Quavers down the hole, and then you're an ant, you go down the hole. Then you're treated, you don't actually start the game after that. Then it goes to basically like a start screen, which again, chances are they just tacked on that stuff, and then this normal start screen with all the ants, carrying the letters around to spell out the credits and stuff. That was probably the opening screen. It makes me wonder how much I wonder if this game would have been a one-disc game without the extra Quavers.
Maybe so. You might be right.
They just added a second disc.
Yeah, the Quavers disc.
Yeah. So when you actually start the game, you are an ant, and this game is. I have to say, I don't know if I've ever played a game like this. It really surprised me. So your ant, this is a domino or the dominoes game. I don't mean you're playing dominoes. I mean you're knocking over dominoes, which I used to love to do that as a kid.
Yeah.
Did you ever do that? Have a crap with dominoes?
I did all the time. In fact, I owned several Domino Rally sets.
Oh, I forgot about Domino Rally.
Yeah.
That was after my time.
Yeah.
It was made so you could have little ramps and
right.
stuff. And so if
you know what you do? This is what I did when I was a kid. We set it up, and you have to say the words Domino Rally before you start.
So you were sort of a shill for Domino Rally, just like these guys.
Domino Rally, boom, and then like 3 dominoes in, you haven't set it up right. It stops.
That is funny.
Yeah.
So if it was just setting up dominoes, that wouldn't be the game. That's just screwing around. So this game I actually introduced.
This game, the dominoes are set up for you.
This is
already,
the
way.
lemmings of dominoes, because you've got a bunch of dominoes that do like special jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to think, who was it? Was it Pixels? Somebody put this up on our Discord.
Pix.
And I thank God for you, sir, because I needed this book to tell me what these dominoes did, because they're only marked with like little stripes.
There's an in-game menu you can actually access at any time.
Really? I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, if you push, I think it's P, then you get an in-game menu that brings up all of the blocks and what they do.
Oh, that's nice. Well, they also, we had a Pix actually scanned in the book. And so we actually I got to look at the book, and the book helps quite a bit. So the first couple levels are pretty simple. What you have to do is your ant can move these dominoes around. And your ant can fall from level to level, and there's ladders to get him back up, all right? And so what you need to do, you have to accomplish several things to complete a level.
No, you don't.
Well, you do.
What you have to do is you have to knock over all the dominoes and make the last domino that falls over the domino that has 3 stripes.
Right, that's several things. That's what I was talking about. You have to do 2 things.
That's 2.
Plus, you forgot one.
Okay.
There's a time limit that you have to do.
But you're not doing it.
You have to do it under the time limit. So that's 3 things.
Okay.
So it's several things.
Okay.
So the ant can move these dominoes around, and at first you don't have to do a ton of shuffling, do you?
It's mostly in the first few levels. It's the game does a great job of training you about what you need to do, and mostly you only need to move 1 or 2 dominoes, and the rest are already set up.
Yeah. Now I will admit, of course, I came into this completely cold and no idea what was going on. And so when I saw the dominoes at first, it took me a little while to know what even I was supposed to do, because I didn't know what the striped dominoes meant.
Right.
So this is one where you probably at least should have a quick look at what's going on. But it didn't take me too long to figure it out. Then I had to figure out how to get the ant to shove the domino. And do it again, that's not hard. Just got to push up at a certain spot and then hit the button and he knocks over dominoes. But all simple. Controls, no problem in this. So at first, like you said, it's pretty simple stuff. And like I said, they set them up pretty well for you. And then once you knock over all the dominoes and you knock over the striped domino, the door to exit opens, you leave. Simple. And then you completed that level. Now, this game doesn't have saves. It does have the old level codes. Hey, listen, for this game, level codes, perfectly fine.
Yep.
I didn't have any problem. Did you have any problem with that at all?
No. Well, in fact, I never typed them in because I just kept on playing.
Right. I'm the same way. But I mean, still, I don't have a problem with that.
No, it's fine.
And once you complete a level and you sort of know the gimmick, this is early on. You don't really have to go play it again. You can just skip right. You don't have to so it's easy to go back. Now, later on, when this game gets, because of course I skipped around. This game, I'll have to give these guys credit right out of the gate. First, I'm just going to cut to the chase. I don't like puzzle games. You know that. This is not my type of game. This game was awesome. An awesome game. Am I good at it? No. But it's so clever and this took me, I've never been so stunned, because this Quavers game, and the last one we did, I wasn't that impressed with it, One Step Beyond. This game is tons better than that one, because aside from the fact that you've got the special dominoes, some dominoes will keep dominoing right across the screen. That's their speciality. Some dominoes will bridge gaps. Some dominoes will blow holes and stuff. Some dominoes will shoot up in the air and hit the ceiling and start going.
And swing.
You've got so that just those dominoes give you a lot of wacky situations. Some will split in half. Then you get to a point later on in the game, and it actually happens on the 11th level. I know this for certain, where normally your ant just stands around and then crap happens. You get to a point where all of a sudden you've got to negotiate your way down to the door before stuff gets blocked.
Right.
And that's when the game really gets challenging, because you get to the point, and then you've got to move, and you've got to know when to go and where to go. And then later on, like way late in the game, and I didn't get anywhere near this, but I did cheat to get there. There are situations where you have to move dominoes in mid-domino action. You've got to move them around to get them. But it's crazy, Bo. Did you see any of that later stuff? I was like, how could anyone do this?
So let me tell you about my experience with this game.
Okay, because this is right up your alley.
Well, no, it's not.
Oh, really?
I don't like puzzle games.
Okay.
I generally dislike them because I find that early on it gets to a point where I just feel like I'm doing work and I just want to stop.
Yes, I agree with that.
So I sat down with this game last Saturday in the afternoon. I was kicking back and I was like, all right, I'm going to play 20 or 30 minutes of Pushover, and then I'm going to move on to the other games that we got to play this week. So I sat down with this thing, and I proceeded to spend 2.5 hours playing it.
You scared me for a second.
That is no joke.
That's a testament to the joy it brought you, clearly.
This game is different than most puzzle games because it lets you, first of all, you don't have any lives. If you mess up, you can keep on doing it. There's no penalty for failing other than you just got to do it again.
I loved that.
Yeah. Number two, the game's difficulty curve is perfect. It starts you off, I mean, it's like,
pretty good,
do you have to come to terms with controls? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but once you do that, the difficulty curve is like, okay, it introduces you to each different concept. Like when a new block is introduced, there will be a stage that's very easy that just shows you what that block does. Another thing that's great about this is that you can, when you set up the dominoes and you watch them fall, you can see immediately where things are going wrong. So you can be like, all right, this is just what I need to do next time to fix it, and I'll be able to do it.
Yeah.
Versus in most puzzle games, it's completely binary. It's like, you didn't do it right, try again.
Yeah.
This one, you can see exactly where you messed up,
Yeah.
and that's the difference for me.
And you could even use if you successfully beat a level, you actually get a token. So you could actually start the level over from right before you pushed off, and then not have to start it completely over.
Now, I will say that I rarely use that.
I didn't either hardly, but I used it a couple of times.
Yeah, but it is a neat thing. There are a couple things that I would change about this game.
All right.
The first one, well, the version that I played, there was something weird with the emulator, and my guy was moving at Mach 6. He just moved super quickly.
He moves pretty quick.
Yeah, but in watching this video, my guy was moving much faster than this.
This is how mine moved,
okay.
Yeah.
You know, I want my puzzle games to be somewhat of a contemplative experience. I want to be able to sit back and, you know, be able to focus on the puzzle. Okay, I understand there's a time limit. That's fine.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as running out of time. That's another thing I love about this game. Once your time limit runs out, the time starts ticking up in red, and you can't complete the level, but you can still figure out. You can still do stuff.
But if you have tokens, the time limit's irrelevant. You can still.
Oh, you can use it. Okay, I didn't realize that. So, but anyway, as you play, your little GI ant will sit there, and every second, it's like every 1.5 seconds, he'll tap his foot.
Yeah.
Okay? And he'll make this unholy screech.
Yes, he does make a weird noise. Yes. Yes.
It sounds like that.
It's not that loud or irritating.
To my mind, it was.
It wasn't the best.
Okay. So that really took me out
unholy,
it took me out of the game. And I once I muted the volume, it was fine. The problem is that the music in this game is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And I hated to do that. I wish I could just turn off the effects. And there is a panel which makes you believe that you can do that, but you actually can't. You can't turn off the effects and just leave the music.
Yeah, that noise was odd. I didn't like. At first, I'm like, "What the hell is that?" And I was like, "It's that. Is this the guy? Please shut up."
Right.
Yeah. It did. I agree. I didn't like that. It wasn't a deal breaker, but yeah, I agree with that.
You know, there is something to be said for when you fail a challenge, you have to kill yourself.
Yeah.
It is sort of like Spartan-esque, I guess. But I would have, I don't know, I probably would have done things a little bit different. Maybe not made him kill himself. Maybe just like if you fail the challenge, maybe just bring up the thing immediately, hit the button and go again. I did find myself wasting time walking to the end of a ledge, waiting for him to do the ooh.
Yeah, he does the oh. And by the way, that's a real pain when you're trying to get somewhere in a hurry. Right. But that's part of it.
Right.
That was an odd choice.
The game did take an odd turn. I knew that whenever they introduced the delay block, that something was going down.
Yeah.
But the way that you have to in that first level, which is exactly, it's very rare that we've had such an identical experience playing a game.
Yeah.
But that very first level where you have to maneuver up the ladder and get there, or it's either up or down the ladder.
You've got to get down through the gap before the gap.
Oh yeah,
is sealed.
that's right. Yeah. That's right. You know, that took me a while to do.
Yeah.
And so
even when I did it the first time, I was just like, I got lucky.
And that was the first. I knew at that point that there was going to come a certain point in this game that I wouldn't be able to continue because I wouldn't have the finesse to do it. And that was disappointing because I wanted to just keep on solving like simple domino puzzles.
Do you recall how far you got before you couldn't get any further?
16 levels.
Yeah, that's right about where I got too.
I wrote it down.
I mean, but again, our time, having only played this for less than a week, if you were to sit down and give this a good hearty shot and give it a lot of time, I can see you would figure it out.
Yeah, I think there's 100 levels.
There are 100 levels. I should mention that the backgrounds it has different scenarios that you play in. I wrote them down. You've got at the beginning you've got like an industrial level, then there's a Mayan sort of level, then there's a space level, then you're inside of a computer. There's ancient Rome. Then, and by the way, don't get too excited about these. These are just basically
It's
pictures in the
backdrops.
background.
But I mean, they're nice.
But the music changes and everybody
Okay.
different backdrop. Then you've got an erector set. Then there's a dungeon, and then the last set of levels are in like Japan. They're like of an Asian flair to them. The ant. What did you think of that? We've always killed a lot of these characters, and I know we hate the noise, but otherwise, I thought the ant was pretty well rendered.
Yeah, the ant.
He does a good job.
The ant is definitely up there in terms of mascots. He doesn't make any allusions to his attitude-filled past. He's not a delinquent caveman. He's pretty good in terms of Amiga mascots.
He does have personality. Really the thing is sized out well.
Yeah.
Because this is a game that has it gets really complicated with multiple levels, and they've got plenty of room to operate. Well, everything is sized real well. A lot of thought. I was thinking about this on the way over here. This game, I don't know if I was more taken with it than you. And again, I'm no good. I did the best I could, but this game is so original and so clever that I had to sit here and wonder, number one, did they come up with this, or is this ripped off something? Because if it's ripped off, I've never seen what it was ripped off of. And if it hasn't been, it wasn't ripped off and it was original, why haven't I seen this everywhere all the time?
Yeah.
Why isn't this on handheld devices? Why isn't this on a Game Boy? This concept would work on anything, a phone. It would work anywhere.
Yeah, I agree.
Why they haven't used this is unbelievable. Also, why did I never hear of this game in the pantheon of puzzle games? This is a clever game. I mean, is it Lemmings? It's not as cute or as adorable, but I mean, it's similar in terms of in the scope. It's got a lot of levels. It's well done.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe that the Quavers connection may have screwed this game to a certain degree. Because when people see that, they're like, "Oh, here we go."
On the Super Nintendo, it's not. There's no Quavers at all. It's because it was released in the United
I've heard
States.
that. What's it called? Is it called the
It's
same
called
thing?
Pushover.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I think that the name is not strong. I would have pursued a domino, more of a domino thing. Like, I think this would have been a great license for Domino Rally. Domino Rally was huge at that time. Something that connected, because like Pushover, you don't think dominoes. You think like a Gulliver jerk. And that's not what you want.
Well, I think it's a clever title, but you're right. If I'm building a game based on knocking over dominoes, I want dominoes in the title.
Exactly. So I think that if they would have named it something a little bit better, it would have helped. Other than that, I mean, you're right. It's so well done.
I can't believe we had never seen this.
Yeah.
It stuns me. This is a hidden gem. This is one of the all-time hidden gems.
Yeah.
In terms of puzzle games.
Before I forget, I do want to thank Amigos Game Selection Committee member Pixels at Dawn for suggesting this to the crew and having them vote on it, and the whole crew, because this is one that I would have probably not given another look to, and man, this is by far, I mean, and I'm sure you'll agree with me, this is the best puzzle game on the Amiga.
Lemmings is very good, and so
I don't like Lemmings as much.
I love Lemmings. I love Lemmings, and I'm also. But here's one thing about this that's got Lemmings.
Here's another thing. I like Pipe Mania more, but not the Amiga version. I like some of the other versions.
But the thing is, Pipe Mania has been done to death on a million. I mean, you've never come across a game like this.
No.
And the thing is, the game has flair. It's got style. It's got it looks good. I mean, and it's the kind of look that holds up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's kind of like cartoony, fun. It's fun.
Yep.
I can't, like I said, the only thing that I can come up with as to why it didn't do well, or I don't guess it did well. I mean, people know about it, but I can't figure out why this concept should be ripped off immediately.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But get on the phone.
Yeah.
Rip the sucker off.
And I mean, who's to say that on Steam there isn't some, because there are so many PC games now, but it's just crazy to me that we didn't see any more of this on any other console back in the day.
Yeah, I'm surprised. So I looked into this thing in terms of how it was received. again, it blew my mind. So, I mean, it's got good scores pretty much across the board. Lemon gave it an 8.12, which is a good score on Lemon. Amiga Action gave this an 88. Amiga Format gave it an 86. Amiga Power gave it a 79. AUI gave it a 99.
Wow.
The One gave it an 83. Listen, I think the 80s are too low for this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'd say this about a puzzle game that wasn't like one of the big puzzle games. But I mean, this game, this is a home run. If you're a puzzler, this is a home run.
And even if you're not a puzzler, like I'm not a puzzler, I don't like most puzzle games, but this thing, you got to play this. You got to try it out.
And the way it's set up, I love the way it's set up. It's easy to use. It's easy to skip levels.
Oh, you know, there's one thing that's different about, I'm sorry I didn't mean to interrupt you, but about the Super Nintendo version is the really clever cutscenes in the middle with all the ants putting up the numbers and stuff like that.
Yeah, I love that.
They took that out of the Super Nintendo version.
Really?
Yeah, no idea why.
Did they keep the music and stuff in
Yeah,
it?
the music is all the same. All that stuff is the same, but they took all the Quaver stuff out and they took out the interstitial stuff in between the scenes. So.
I swear to you, I've got to think that the Quavers didn't do this any favors. You know, I think people, listen, when you're online, let's go back to our previous conversation about the way they used to advertise in games online. When you were like, man, I'm going to play something, I'm going to go over to the Nabisco arcade. Did you hold those games in any sort of high regard?
No.
And the thing is, some of those games were made by industry greats because a lot of guys from the classic gaming era went into advertised gaming, right?
You're right.
And so a lot of those games were fun, but when you're like, oh, I'm going to go play the Lifesavers game, you're not thinking to yourself, I'm going to go play some like first class game.
No. You're like, I need a 5-minute time waster.
So when you see a game like, when you think of games that are strapped to advertising, like what awesome games that were strapped to advertising come to your head? I mean, it's not like I don't mean like a movie tie-in. I mean like a product tie-in that were released. You got like the Noid or Kool-Aid Man or something like that.
Cool Spot was a pretty good platform.
There were some, but I mean, I think you have to get over that advertising gimmick just to get your game over. I wonder if that didn't do this game any favors. That's just a guess.
Yeah, you might be right. We did get some Discord reviews. Chris Fold says, this quirky domino-style puzzle game is one I owned on the SNES back in the day, so was curious to see how the Amiga version squared up, especially as it has Quavers. Once I got a version that didn't play at light speed, I was pleasantly surprised. Better graphics and sound than the console, thanks to its uncomplicated nature, plays just as well. Like many puzzle games, it frustrates me that it has a time limit, and running into place to move things when the dominoes are in play on later levels can be super tricky. Overall, I feel this game has charm, Quavers, and something that makes you come back to it. A solid 8 out of 10. Pixels of Dawn says, straight up, I should say this is one of my absolute favorite Amiga games and one of my favorite puzzle games on any platform. Great music, spot-on sound effects, great looks, and tons of personality. Couple this with a simple but deep concept and you've got a winner. I will dock points for the incessant idle chatter.
Yes.
But that is easily remedied by keeping on the move in-game. While it does have a timer, it means nothing except to give you boundaries to complete the level and once you figured it out, as it has no lives. And once you realize there isn't anything to worry about, it becomes a chilled game indeed. Even the menus and level code screens are loaded with charm. A stone-cold classic, 9.5 out of 10. Jason Warren says, I never played this game back in the day. Lucky too, because I would have drowned hours into it at the cost of my studies. Overall, I found this to be a fun puzzler where not only do you have to figure out the puzzle for the dominoes, but also your escape. Creative gameplay paired with fun music and graphics that included animated cutscenes make this something I'll be coming back to. I had a genuine blast playing it, 9 out of 10. Graham Bebke says, everyone who knows me understands I really enjoy puzzle games when they're good, and Pushover is 8 out of 10 good. I really like the domino-based gameplay style of this game, and there is decent music. Too often puzzle games have horrendous audio and the sound effects didn't help. I just wish you could mute the effects. This is a hidden gem for me. I never played it before. I still think I enjoy Pipe Mania that little bit more, but I will return to this game again for sure.
Yeah, excellent. I think almost total universal agreement on that one.
Yeah.
It was quite a stunner. I did have a look on eBay on this. You actually can get a copy of this in the States. I was surprised. $47. That's what they're asking
for the Amiga version.
Yeah, and in the UK, you were looking somewhere. Of course, their prices are a lot more reasonable. I saw it going for $3 all the way up to $55, and there were plenty of them out there. This one here, this is going to come back in our year in awards. I can guarantee it. Because this is one of the best puzzle games I've ever played on any platform.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, as we wrap the show up, I do want to thank all the fine folks that are watching us live on Twitch right now. We record the show every Friday at around 5:30 Eastern Time. If you'd like to join us at twitch.tv/Amigos Retro Gaming, you can join the party like Pixels at Dawn is here. Oh, and Pixels has just reminded me, we're going to stop the presses because you didn't give me the signal, Aaron.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were going to do this first. Please continue.
I never do this first. If we get this far, you'll know I've missed it. Let's talk about what's been going on the old video channel this week. The video channel being the Amigos Retro Gaming YouTube channel. So, out this week, brand new, we had
a lot of crazy stuff come out.
A lot of stuff. As I maneuver the mouse in the correct direction. Let's start with the final swag video of Pixels at Dawn's trip to the Southwest Amiga users group over there in the old England.
That was sad as the tubby got sitting by himself in cement.
Sounds like us. So this is the Blitz Basic manual presentation. So you can check that out if you are interested in learning how to code in Blitz Basic and finding your way around that. You know, Blitz Basic was used to code a ton of like legitimate Amiga games, like the Supercars series and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, it's very powerful.
Yeah. So there he is. I think that's the same guy from the ad. So next up, Aaron, let's talk a little bit about this week's ARG Presents, the Sword M5.
Holy moly, the Sword. Well, we had, this was a selection for the Thanks for Giving Marathon, and Brent took a lot of those and put them back on the list so we could do a full episode on them, and this one it came up right away. An interesting Japanese computer the company was started in 1970 by a fellow in Japan and his mom, which I like that.
That is.
And they ended up in '85. They sold the company was bought by Toshiba and became their computer arm.
Interesting.
Effectively. So
this is the forerunner of the satellite and all.
Well,
those,
I mean, I can't say that with any certainty, but I mean, that's why they bought it.
I'm certain.
If you'll recall, but you actually played this. We played Pooyan and Super Cobra on it.
Yeah.
This week, me and Brent picked Power Pack and Wonder Hole. Power Pack is the Namco's name for Super Pac-Man on this machine. There were a couple where they named it that. That's a legitimate Namco version. And Wonder Hole, which I will admit, when Brent picked that, I was a little worried. But the story behiund Wonder Hole,
the fact that it is the only port of an arcade game that no longer exists anywhere, amazing.
Yeah, it was a fun episode, and Brent was all fired up for this one. So Brent was shooting on all cylinders this week. So yeah, we had a good time. This upcoming week is going to get real funky. We'll be taping live, and we'll be doing the Tandy TRS-80 Model 100, which I can tell you had no commercial game releases. So we're going to get into some crazy stuff.
We had a new episode of The Coco Show released. This was Super Pitfall, Aaron.
Yes. By the way, I'm not the only person that couldn't get this to run on their Coco 3.
I noticed that.
Yeah.
I noticed that.
We actually had a good time doing this, and despite the fact that neither one of us really enjoyed the game that much, but the Pitfall series, hey, it's a series of highs and lows, and that's for darn sure. And all the highs came early.
Yeah.
Fortunately. But yeah, it's still it's an interesting game, and of course the Coco is always a load of fun.
Yeah. And I just want to make sure there's nothing else. Oh yeah, we also debuted a new podcast.
Yeah.
So last week, if you didn't join us live, I told Aaron we were going to start with Amigos, and then unbeknownst to him, we actually started a new podcast instead.
Yeah.
We recorded the first episode of 1200 XL, an Atari 8-bit gaming show, and our first game was Blue Max, one of our favorite games. And the show seemed to go over pretty well, so we'll be doing about one of those a month to add to the stable of Amigos retro gaming shows.
Boat knew there was a 0% chance I would agree to do another podcast, and then he sugared it up by picking one of my all-time favorite games. And for the second one, he picked another one of my all-time favorite games. So Bo is a smooth operator. I will say that. That's the nicest thing I can say.
One might say I mold you to my desires.
Oh, God. Please don't say that again. Horrible.
And, of course, we have some just wacky stuff up on the channel. We've got Trek Talk with Amigo Aaron. This is where Aaron gives
this is where you put that up without telling me again.
An authorized rundown of the original series, Next Gen, DS9, Galaxy Quest, and Sequest DSV.
No, none of those things. Just Star Trek.
And Ask the Amigos Q&A, where
that was
a bunch of people on Discord asked us a bunch of questions, and we answered those questions.
That was fun. I like those Q&A ones are good. I like those.
Yeah. So make sure you check out all the action. All this stuff is posted on our Amiga or our YouTube channel, Amigos Retro Gaming, and most of the audio is also cross-posted to our feed over at anchor.fm/Amigos Retro Gaming. I'm sorry, Amigos Podcast.
You know, this Swag 2020. This was quite an event.
It was.
This was a. They had a lot of good action over at this thing. So thumbs up to that.
Yeah, the guys that run Swag, it seems like they run a really tight ship. Everything seems super organized, and so it's England is just so lucky to have that sort of event going on their home turf.
And I feel very fortunate that we get to see it. And I was talking to one of our good buddies and one of our longtime supporters, John Marshall, Wednesday, and he was just raving about how much he enjoyed watching the Swag footage. So it's a lot. It's done real well for us too. So it's been very popular.
Yeah. Thank you to Pixels at Dawn, beat reporter on the street, for capturing all that footage and editing it. He is the man.
That's a fact. Also, while we're on here, it's the week I was sick, and I just found out about this the other day. I guess someone sent me a goodie.
Oh.
And I just got the goodie thanks to Brent when he finally bothered to give it to me. That was our good buddy Duncan Stiles. Well, it gave me, I guess, I don't know if everyone got these things. It's like a video game tin and some stamps.
Yeah, this is the stamp set that he got one for you, me, and Brent.
Well, I want to thank him here on the show that was a very nice gift, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
and I didn't want to think that I just never had said anything to him because I just found out. My dad's birthday was Sunday. Brent's like, hey, I've had this at the house for you. I'm like, hey, what the heck? Give me that. So yes, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
All right, and now we can thank all the fine folks in the Twitch. So Edvin Helland, he's watching live from his man cave in chilly Norway.
Having a sudsy cold one, no doubt.
He is. 10-minute Amiga Retrocast. L. Curtis B is here. Jeffy Jeff 73, Delamort 78, Picard 2010, Pixels at Dawn Gaming, modding it up. Paul Kitching Mitsuyama. Go Sub is here. Joss Vender is here. Ricky DeRocher. Thank you guys so much.
Good crowd tonight.
Yeah, for hanging out with us. Late night for those of you in Europe live on Twitch.
Oh, Edwin's at the cabin, dude.
Oh, man.
It's amazing that people can watch us live from the cabin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I saw some pictures of that cabin. There's some snow going on over at Norway.
Yeah.
Some serious snow. We also want to thank our Twitch subscribers. Still Adolescing, Bike Me, Chris Folds, Les Sooner, Piplo, Go Sub, Real, Joe the Zombie, Pakutake, Rushi MSX, Frodo NL, Buck Owens, Anguish Auteur, Retro Jerry, Mitsuyama, Brother Bill, The Slow Norris, Uber Scooper Diver, and G Webke.
You know what really bothers me, Bode?
What's that?
Is you've got a lot of fake Joe the Zombies walking around.
I know.
And so poor Joe had to actually put real in front of his name just so we know who he was.
Well, that's how we know.
That's
how
zombies
we know he's
for
legit.
you. Yeah, they'll rip you off.
They're crying for legitimacy.
Good point. Tough.
And if you are an Amazon Prime subscriber and you enjoy the show, you can support us for free by just going to Twitch and becoming a Prime subscriber to the Amigos Retro Gaming Twitch channel.
Yeah.
So.
And if you're a real Amazon, send me a picture.
Okay. And of course, Aaron, it's time for the Patreon song.
Oh.
Okay. So last week we did a tune, and by we I mean I.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm gonna sing you the real tune, and you can tell me if you know.
Okay, because I could not identify whatever that was.
She was a working girl on North England way. Now she's hit the big time in the USA. You know what that is?
Nope.
Okay, so you would not have gotten the song even if you knew the real song.
Nope.
The name of the song is Honey Pie, and it's by a band called The Beatles.
Yeah, I know the name when you said it, but I didn't know the song. And also, I will tell you this. your version right there was not good. But what you did last week, it was more like avant-garde scream art. Just ranting and wailing.
That's true.
And
And
you
when
were
I-
like the human bagpipe, and someone just stomping up and down.
That's
on
true.
it.
When I put in the pops and locks, that really, I feel
That's
like that,
never
that,
good.
That put it
That's
over
what
the
that
top.
was. I thought you were having a spasm of some sort. I was going to get some drugs out here.
All right. We did get a new supporter this week, Aaron. We want to welcome to the fold Zebedee's Magic Roundabout.
Yeah, I saw his name pop up, and I was like so happy because that's quite a name. I love it.
So, if you know the answer to this week, oh, and nobody got that, by the way. Nobody.
No one knows. I'm
Nobody
telling you.
knows.
And people know the Beatles. They know that song, but not that what you did. No, bad boat.
So, we want to thank our supporters in this very special way. If you know the name of this song, you can send me an email at john@amigospodcast.com.
This is how you thank the supporters by desecrating a famous song.
Zebedee's Magic Roundabout, Jurgen, Mr. Cola, Daniel Williams, Bernard Lucas, Jerry Dennington, Sorglub, Commodore Kid, Bjorn Viggensen, Terry Howard, Reflection, Simon Ledge, Captain, Crispy, Kilobytes, Caffeine, Mike W, Deckard, Threepwood, Gary, Heather, Free Lunch, Kate Fox, David Pickford, Cameron, Armstrong, Andy Jones, Lobster, Manator, 10-Minute Amiga Retrocast, Bernard Quinn, Retro Man Cave, Tim Drew, Simon Rose, Joseph Harrison, Kyle Letter, Rob O'Hara, Howard Nibbs, Matthew Larimore, Andy Craig, Sean Zoe, Colin 419, Bart Bit, Roland Burke, Andrew Monks, Joe the Zombie, John Cook, Leaf Kellon, Alan Kebab, Chicote, Levelor, John Marshall, Matthew Perron, Ricky DeRocha, Creepy Dead, Boy Figure CTZ, The Slow North, Stefan Sorgard Mortensen, Edvin Helen, Blendo 75, Christopher Hassel, Ravi, Abbott, Chris Foles, Dreamcatcher, Lauren Giroux, Graham Pipke, Lane Denson, Adam Basby, O'Brien's Retro and Vintage, Gary Hucker, C. Brian Jones, Paul Harrington, Duncan Styles, Tapes from the Crib, Josh, Nan, Adam Bradley, Jonas Rulo, THT, Eric Nelson, Kim Tommy, Humbertstadt, Daniel Bingston, Brutal, Barracuda, Darren Coates, Jason Wands, Pixels at Dawn, and Kjolbjorn Barman.
That was worse than last week.
That was better than
Where are you
last
getting
week's.
these songs?
These are famous
That sounded like you
songs of the past.
That sounded like something you just randomly would generate.
No. Well, I was singing multiple parts
Were
and
ya?
the instrumental breaks.
The instrument broke, all right. that was no good, Bo. That's bad.
Next week, Aaron, we're going to be playing a Boss Man joint.
Okay, lay it on me. Lay it on me. What's the boss pick?
Desert Strike.
Oh yes.
Now,
All
I
right.
believe that you recently played this on some sort of a live stream, didn't you?
Listen, I have played it, and I was doing awesome too. Ask anyone, they'll tell you. I'm ready. I'm ready to jump on this one.
All
Beautiful,
right.
beautiful.
All right, guys. Thank you as always for watching. We'll be back next week with Jungle Strike. Nope, Desert Strike. Jungle Strike we won't be back with.
I think we did Jungle Strike already. Didn't
We haven't. This is our first strike
We've never
game.
done a strike.
Isn't that amazing?
That is stunning.
Yeah.
I thought we'd done one.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Until then,
Adios.
adios.